to me, I see an epidemic of just being too nice.
Yes.
Creating harmony with toxic people does not benefit you.
No, and over dishonest things. I think that's really important, that you can connect. And also when you're looking at a thing or an object or a like or a dislike to connect, it's a pretty shallow ground to connect on, because you may change your mind about that drink tomorrow.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about drinks, but you may change your mind on a hobby, you may change your mind on an interest, you may change your mind on an activity. But usually people stay pretty grounded to values and qualities. And that's kind of, this confirmation bias has just created so many issues, because we also go around and look for people who confirm our biases. So then we get into this bubble and this cloud of thinking that we can't break and that we can't, expose to. So
it's so interesting, and I think we have to have compassion for ourselves in it as well. When someone sees someone else in the same like sports jersey, like if you're a Lakers fan and then you see someone wearing a Lakers shirt, and you're like, hey dude, it's like, you don't know that guy. But you've just, it's this like confirmation bias of, we like something similar, let's make harmony. There's something so pure and impish and sweet and innocent about that. People right now are at this time where they're like, humans suck and humans are stupid, and like there's something kind of beautiful about that, we're willing to accept someone based on their colors on their shirt. And if we really extend that, we should want to extend ourselves to everyone. Because we all, what's that famous statement? Like, we all bleed the same air and bleed the same blood, and breathe the same air and bleed the same blood. And it's like, at that core, we all know that we're the same, or have an essential sameness, but that's what we miss. So we recognize the same jersey, or we recognize the same country or the same city. But then we don't recognize the essential sameness, which is the equal vision that monks would speak about. It's like, that's real equal vision, is that realize we all wear the same jersey. It's so interesting. Like I'm really getting into terror management theory as well, which is like that, basically humans are the only species we know we're going to die. So we have the anticipation of knowing, we're basically just trash bags full of blood that could die at any moment, that we have to manage our terror by keeping ourselves busy and having trophies and competitions and awards and, stuff like that, because it gives us a sense of longevity and life after death and a lasting legacy, because we have so much existential panic that we have to manage. There's a lot of reality in that. But at the same time, I think there's parts of it that are true and there's parts of it that are constructed. So the constructed parts almost keep us imprisoned in that hamster wheel. But then there's parts of it that have because it all comes from a true essence. Like, I think everyone agrees that we feel like we want to feel fulfilled. And we want to feel meaning. And we want to feel purpose. But then the constructs that have been created to keep you locked in, they're the ones that we all feel uncomfortable with over the, I talk about sometimes, like in my school that I went to, and this was painful. So in my high school in London, they would give us a rank system of 180 students, and every subject, they would rank you every year on where you were against everyone else. So it's YouTube.
It's
YouTube comments. It's Reddit.
It's YouTube, but it's like for everyone to see. So you go home with this sheet of paper that you give to your parents that says you're either number 1 for a subject or you're number 180 for a subject, and you're showing it to them.
That's like public shaming.
Literally,
I mean, it probably worked.
It worked for me. It worked by showing me what I was really good at and what I was really bad at, and I was like, all right, those things that I'm below 90 and I'm not going to put any effort into, and these 3-5 things I'm doing really well at, I'm going to go all in on those.
By the way, it is amazing to look back at the that was done when we were in school that they don't do anymore, because everyone's like so delicate about children now. Like they don't give trophies or prizes or first place, or they don't rank kids at all, which I actually think we've gone like too far in the other direction. Kids just suck at sports now. Like they're just like all like a disaster. Like I have this nephew who's like sucks at soccer. I'm like, we need to bring back these ribbons, dude. These kids are, he's just like rolling his ankle. Like they're gonna get injured. We need to get some motivation. But yeah, when I was a kid, like they would put your test results like on the wall for everyone to see.
But that's the point, right? Like as humans, we do a really poor job of oscillating between extremes. So we go from one extreme to the other extreme, and the reason why the word balance has been so popular for such a long time is because the answer is somewhere in the middle. The answer is a bit of both, right? There is a need for rankings and competition, and there is a need for compassion and collaboration, and it's almost like embracing polarities is so much more the direction that we're all looking for, as opposed to saying that it's either or. And so when people say things like, oh, do you need to be spiritual or strategic to be successful? And it's like, well, you need both.
Yeah.
Do you need to be generous, or do you need to be focused on growing if you want to be happy? You need both. Like, you can't, it's not really about a choice in the same way as we started with self and service. It's not one or the other.
You're making me realize something. I think that is just, we all can look at, we love black and white thinking, because humans we want an answer, even if it's the wrong answer.
Yeah,
we just want
so true.
So that we have some semblance of control. And I'm in this new relationship, and I find myself wanting to, it's not a relationship, what am I saying? Black and white thinking, it's somewhere in between. We're not dating and we're not together.
Yeah.
And I want so badly to feel safe. My inner child needs an answer so bad that I'm like, do you like to travel or do you not like to travel? And he'll be like, well, it depends on where I'm traveling. And I'm like, well, and so do you cheat or do you not cheat? And he's like, well, it's different with me.
Yeah.
None of these answers are going to apply to me because this is a new situation, but it's made me realize how anxious, preoccupied, and how much I perseverate, and how much my inner child panics when she doesn't have an answer.
Yes.
And I think if we just acknowledge, like you talk about in this book and are being so elegant about it now, if we just acknowledge our need for the polarity, we can then release it. It's just like even the awareness of knowing.
Totally.
Is he or is he not? Well, he's probably sometimes probably sometimes not. Is she a or not? Well, sometimes I'm a bitch and sometimes I'm a saint.
Totally. And we're all so much more proportions and percentages in different scenarios than we are one or the other. And it's the same thing I say to people when they're like, oh, Jay, I don't know if my intention is completely pure or if it's material or spiritual. I'm like, we're both.
All of it.
Like, it's all of it. Like,
All
me
can
too.
be
Like,
true.
we all are. Like, you're always trying to move in the right direction. The problem is we're addicted to a right decision, right? And that's the problem. Like, we're just trying to move into the right direction. We're just moving closer to that. And as long as you're moving closer in the right direction with someone, with yourself, with whatever it is that you're learning, don't give so much emphasis to the decision, the direct answer, the destination, all of that kind of, you're so right about what you just said about the child and so many of us not having had clarity as young people about where we stood with our parents or where we stood with our partners. And now we demand what we did or didn't get from our parents in our relationships.
It's the unfinished business.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, it took me so long to stop recreating my childhood circumstances because I think we have this subconscious pull, obviously, to recreate the neurochemical cocktail that's comfortable for us. It's like when you see someone in a crazy relationship and you're like, how do they deal with that all day? They're in a cocoon. They are so comfortable doing it. That is all they know. It's like the devil And I find myself recreating my childhood circumstances and trying to basically just heal that wound, Who's going to heal it? Who's going to fix it? And it's there, no one. You have to do it.
Yeah. There's a beautiful statement that you reminded me of by a monk named Thich Nhat Hanh. He's incredible. And he said that we choose familiar pain over unfamiliar pain.
That's it.
Every time we just repeat it because that familiar pain gives us a feeling of safety, of security, of like, I know what pain I'm going to feel. And I'd rather keep repeating it than maybe venture out into this new land of unfamiliar pain, which I don't know what it feels like.
It's comfortable.
Yeah, it's comfortable.
Yes, it's like that pair of heels that always gives you a blister. I got the Band-Aid. Like, it's amazing how, and I think that I'm glad that we're talking about this because we are so adaptable. Like, there's so many people that reach out to me and they're like, is it too late for me to change? Is it too late for me to go to Al-Anon meetings? Is it too late for me to stop being jealous and possessive and a love addict or a sex addict or whatever it is? And I'm like, dude, we think about how quickly you adjusted to those sandals that are giving you blisters. You were like, just put in a Band-Aid and I'm just going to take them off after an hour at the wedding. Like, we actually can adjust so quickly,
That is a great analogy. I'm gonna share that now from now on. I love that one. I'm gonna be like, Whitney and me, we're like, that is a brilliant analogy. I love it.
You're going to talk about blisters.
I'm going to talk about blisters and heels. And
Everyone's like,
here are 3 signs you're struggling with a lack of purpose. Number 1, you feel pressure to know what you want to do with your life. Number 2, you've lost interest in your own life and feel disconnected. Number 3, you don't know what your skills are or you feel you lack them. Hope is not lost. You can get through this. Having purpose and meaning in our lives helps guide us through the ups and downs and create structure in our day-to-day life. That's why I've partnered with Calm, the leading app for mental health and wellness. The app has a library with thousands of meditations, songs to help you relax and focus, and sleep stories to help you get a good night's rest. And now you can find the Daily J, a daily series where I'm sharing proven tools and techniques to improve your mindset and mental health in a matter of minutes.